I am Ashwini Kumar, Assistant Professor, Department of Electronics and Communication, Babu Banarsi Das University, Lucknow. So far we have studied about p-n junction diode. Today we will study about some application of diode. Today I am going to start with the junction breakdown. In junction breakdown, we will cover Zener breakdown mechanism and avalanche breakdown mechanism. And after junction breakdown, we will cover another important topic, which is the application of diode, that is the rectifier. In the rectifier, we will study half wave rectifier, center tap rectifier and bridge rectifier. So let us start with junction breakdown. In this graph, we see that we have studied in the first quadrant that the forward biasing condition we have already covered. But today we have to look at the third quadrant, in which we see that current is almost zero until breakdown voltage. And after breakdown voltage, we see current increases sharply. An important point that is to be noted here is that after reaching the breakdown, Zener diode works as a constant voltage source. That is, voltage becomes constant but current can be increased or decreased. As we know that a p-n junction allows a very small current to flow when it is reversed biased, as shown in figure. This current is almost independent of the applied voltage. However, if the reverse bias is made too high, the current through the p-n junction increases sharply, as shown in the figure. The voltage at which this phenomenon occurs is called as breakdown voltage, as shown in the figure. Breakdown voltage depends on the width of the depletion region, which in turn depends on the doping level. There are two types of mechanism which can cause breakdown. One is the Zener breakdown and other is the avalanche breakdown. Now start with the Zener breakdown. This form of breakdown occurs in junctions which are heavily doped and therefore have narrow depletion width. When voltage across the diode is increased in reverse bias condition, the electric field across the depletion region becomes very intense. When this electric field is about 3 into 10 to the power 7 volt per meter, electrons are pulled from the covalent bonds. Thus a large number of electron hole pairs are generated and reverse current increases sharply. This is the Zener effect. Zener effect is predominant for breakdown voltage less than 4 volt. Now come to avalanche breakdown. This form of breakdown occurs in junctions which are lightly doped and therefore have wide depletion width. Therefore, electric field is not strong enough to produce Zener effect. The external applied voltage accelerates the minority carriers in the depletion region. Upon collision with the valence electron, covalent bonds are broken and we get electron and hole pairs. This newly generated charge carriers are also accelerated by the external voltage, resulting in more collisions and therefore further production of charge carriers. Because now further production of charge carriers has happened, this leads to an avalanche or flood of charge carriers and hence reverse current increases sharply. Avalanche effect is predominant for voltage greater than 6 volts. This is the symbol of Zener diode. Now let us investigate what is the effect of temperature on breakdown voltages of Zener and avalanche breakdown mechanism. In Zener diode, breakdown voltage decreases with increase in temperature. That is, temperature coefficient is negative in case of Zener breakdown. In Zener effect, it is the electric field which is responsible for the generation of extra charge carriers that we have studied already. So when temperature is increased, the valence electrons have already sufficient energy which they have got from the temperature. So now in this case, less electric field is now required. Therefore, breakdown voltage is decreased. Now effect of temperature on the breakdown voltage in case of avalanche breakdown. In avalanche diode, breakdown voltage increases with increase in temperature. So these diodes have positive temperature coefficients. In avalanche effect, it is the minority carriers which collide with the covalent bond to produce more charge carriers. But when temperature is increased, the stationary atoms starts vibrating, and therefore these vibration hinder the process of collision. This is the reason breakdown voltage is increased in case of avalanche breakdown. Now let us differentiate between Zener effect and avalanche effect. First point is that Zener effect takes place in diodes which are heavily doped, and avalanche effects takes place in the diodes which are lightly doped. Zener effects takes place due to high intensity electric field produced at the junction. Avalanche effect takes place by collision of minority carriers having high velocity with immobile ions at the junction. Breakdown voltage decreases as the junction temperature increases in case of Zener effect, but in case of avalanche effect, breakdown voltage increases as junction temperature increases. That is, temperature coefficient is negative in case of Zener effect and temperature coefficient is positive in case of avalanche effect. Application of Zener diode. Application of Zener diodes are as follows. Zener diode can be used in following applications, such as it can be used as a voltage regulator that we will study later. Zener diode can also be used in voltage clipper circuits, as a reference voltage in comparator circuits, and for controlling the output amplitude. From the characteristics, it is clear that after breakdown, voltage across the Zener diode becomes constant. This is very important characteristics of the Zener diode. Now let us investigate Zener diode as a shunt regulator. The regulator circuit consists of a resistance Rs connected in series with the input voltage, and Zener diode which is connected in parallel with the load. As long as voltage across RL is less than the Zener breakdown voltage Vz, the Zener diode does not conduct, because both are parallel to each other. So whatever voltage will be developed across RL, it will also be available across the Zener diode. So as long as voltage across RL is less than the Zener breakdown voltage Vz, the Zener diode does not conduct, and Rs and Rl makes a potential divider across Vi. But when Vi increases, the voltage across RL becomes greater than the breakdown voltage Vz. In this case, Zener diode goes into breakdown region, and from the figure it is clear that Is is equal to Iz plus IL. Now we will study how Zener diode regulates the voltage across the load. So first case is that regulation when load resistance is varied. If the load current IL increases because of the reduction in load resistance, the current Iz through the Zener diode falls by the same percentage in order to maintain the constant current Is. If current is maintained constant across Rs, that is 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 constant, then drop across Rs is constant, and because power supply Vi is fixed, so voltage across RL will also be fixed. This keeps the voltage drop across Rs constant. Hence output voltage V0 remains constant. But if load current IL decreases because resistance RL has increased, then to maintain the constant current through the resistance Rs, the Zener diode passes an extra current Iz, so that current Is is kept constant again, and the output voltage is again constant. Now the second case, that regulation when input voltage Vi is varied. In this case, input voltage is fluctuating but load resistance RL is constant. In this case also we will see that Zener diode helps in maintaining the constant voltage across the RL. Let us investigate. Now if input voltage Vi increases, the Zener diode passes a larger current, so that extra voltage is dropped across Rs. And if input voltage Vi falls, the current Iz also falls, and the voltage drop across Rs is again reduced. Thus we see that using this regulator circuit, output voltage remain fairly constant. Now come to Zener diode numericals. For the following Zener diode network, we have to find VL, that is voltage across load resistance, VR, and Zener diode current Iz. To solve the questions of Zener diode, first step should be that we should determine the state of Zener diode, whether it is in breakdown region or not. And to determine the state of Zener diode, first we have to find out the voltage across the RL, because Zener diode and load resistance are parallel to each other. So to determine the state of Zener diode, we have to first calculate voltage across RL by removing Zener diode from the circuit and applying the potential divider rule. So here we get VL is equal to RL upon Rs plus RL into the input voltage, that is the 16 volt. Putting the value of RL is equal to 1.2 kilo ohm and Rs as 1 kilo ohm and RL equals to 1.2 kilo ohm. After putting these values in the equation, we get VL is equals to 8.73 volt. but in the question Zener breakdown voltage is given as 10 volt. So it is clear that VL is less than VZ. It means voltage across Zener diode is still less than the breakdown voltage. It clearly shows that diode is in off condition or diode is not in breakdown region. It means IZ is equal to 0 ampere. And we have already calculated VL as 8.73 volt. Now we have to calculate voltage across R, that is VR, because 16 volt supply R and RL, they are making potential divider. So in order to get the voltage across R, we have to subtract 8.73 volt from 16, that is VR is equals to 16 volt minus 8.73 volt, and we get VR is equal to 7.27 volt. Now we are repeating the same question. This is the same question that we had solved earlier, replacing RL is equals to 3 kilo ohm instead of 1.2 kilo ohm. Let us investigate what happens in this case. Same step will also be there. Remove the diode from the circuit, find the voltage across RL. So we get VL is equal to RL upon RS plus RL into 16 volt. Putting the values of RL as 3 kilo ohm and RS and RL and input voltage 16 volt, we get VL is equals to 12 volt. But this 12 volt is far greater than VZ, that is 10 volt. It means Zener diode will be there in breakdown region. Since Zener diode is now on or Zener diode is in breakdown region, so it will lock the voltage across load resistance to the 10 volt. So V0 is equal to VL is equal to VZ is equals to 10 volt. It is now fixed, and the voltage across VL will be 16 minus 10 volt, that is 6 volt. Now we have to calculate different currents, that is IZ and IL. Now because voltage across load resistance is locked by the Zener diode at 10 volt, it means VL equals to 10 volt. We know the resistance RL, so we can find the current IL flowing through RL, that is IL is equal to VL upon RL, that is 10 volt upon 3 kilo ohm is equals to 3.33 milliampere. Likewise we can find VR, because voltage across R is known as 6 volt, resistance is 3 kilo ohm, so we can get IR as VR upon RS, 6 volt upon 1 kilo ohm. So IR is equals to VR upon RS, that is 6 volt upon 1 kilo ohm is equal to 6 milliampere. Now we can calculate Zener current IZ from the equation which is written in the above. Now we have to calculate Zener current IZ. We know that IS equals to IZ plus IL. From this equation, IZ is equals to IS minus IL. So IZ equals to 6 milliampere minus 3.33 milliampere, that is IZ equals to 2.67 milliampere. Now come to rectifiers. Rectifiers are of two types: half wave rectifiers and full wave rectifiers. Full wave rectifiers are further categorized into two parts: center tap rectifier and bridge rectifier. Rectifier circuits are used to convert AC voltage into DC voltage. Now come to half wave rectifier. Above shows the circuit diagram of half wave rectifier. In half-wave rectifier, only a single diode is used. In the circuit diagram, we see that primary is connected to the power mains and AC voltage is induced across the secondary of the transformer. Let the secondary voltage induced across the winding is V is equal to Vm sin omega t. This is the alternating voltage with positive and negative half cycle, and voltage Vm is the peak value of this alternating voltage. Now we will study the working principle of half wave rectifier, first for positive half cycle and then for negative half cycle. So let us investigate what will happen for positive half cycle. When positive half cycle comes, the polarity of the voltage is shown in the circuit diagram. The primary plus minus, and it is induced into the secondary plus minus. Polarity of the voltage suggests that diode would be in on condition. Diode will be in forward bias. So we can say for positive half cycle, diode will conduct and it will allow current I to flow through the load resistor RL. So diode conducts and a current I flows through the load resistance RL. Forward bias diode offers very low resistance, therefore drop across the diode is very less. It is about 0.7 volt for silicon and 0.3 volt for germanium diode. Because now current is flowing through the load resistance, so we are getting the output. Therefore the voltage appearing across the load is almost same as that of the input voltage Vi at every instant. Now let us investigate the working principle of half wave rectifier for negative half cycle. In the circuit diagram, negative half cycle is shown. Here we see the polarity of the voltage has become reverse. For negative half cycle, polarity of the input voltage suggests that diode will be in off condition or diode will be in reverse bias condition. So no current flows through the circuit, therefore no voltage is induced across the load resistance RL. It means for negative half cycle there will be no voltage across the load. It is now more clear in the diagram because diode is in off condition, so now it is shown as open circuit. Therefore there will be no current flowing through the circuit, no current flowing through the load, so we will not be getting any output across the load. This is the output waveforms for half wave rectifiers. It is very clear that for positive half cycle there will be an output and for negative cycle there will not be any output. Now PIV, that is peak inverse voltage, this is very important parameter for the diodes. During the negative half cycle the diode is reverse biased, so whole of the input voltage appears across the diode itself. When this voltage reaches to its maximum value Vm, then voltage across diode is also maximum, that is Vm. This maximum voltage is known as peak inverse voltage, that is PIV is the maximum voltage the diode must withstand during the negative half cycle, or we say when it is in reverse biased. From the diagram it is very clear that PIV of the diodes in case of half wave rectifier will be equal to Vm. Now come to full wave rectifiers. We will start with the center tapped rectifier. In a full wave rectifier, both the half cycles are utilized to give the unidirectional current, because we have seen in half wave rectifier only positive cycles are utilized to produce output, but negative cycle was not producing any output. But in case of full wave rectifier, both the half cycles are going to be utilized. Center tap rectifier uses two diodes, D1 and D2. Let us investigate the working principle of the center tap rectifier for both the cycle, that is for positive half cycle and negative half cycle. To start with the positive half cycle. For positive half cycle, polarity of the input voltage developed across primary and secondary is as shown in the figure. With the help of this polarity of the input voltage, it is clear that diode D1 will be in forward bias condition, that is diode D1 is on, and diode D2 is in reverse bias condition, that is diode D2 is off. It is more clear now in this figure because D1 is on but D2 is off, so D2 is open circuited. From the figure it is clear that diode D1 is on and D2 is off. The current flows through diode D1, resistor RL and upper half of the secondary winding, and direction of the load current is from right to left, and we see that we are getting the output. For positive half cycle we are getting almost same output as we can see in the rightmost part, and we are getting the output voltage V0. Now for negative half cycle, the polarity of the voltage developed across primary and secondary suggests that D1 will be off in this case, D1 will be in reverse bias in this case, and D2 will be on. Now picture is more clear that D1 is now open circuited. From the figure it is clear that diode D1 is off and D2 is on. The current flows through D2, resistor RL and lower half of the secondary winding, and direction of the load current is again from right to left. This is very important fact, and because direction of the current is again same, so we are getting the output of the same polarity. It is again the same polarity as we were getting in case of positive half cycle. This is only possible because direction of the output current for negative half cycle is again same, and that is why we get the output V0 of the same polarity. Here we see that for input voltage we are getting output for both the cycle. For positive half cycle we are getting the plus voltage, and for negative half cycle again we are getting the plus voltage. This is possible because in both the cases direction of load current remains same. This is the output waveform for the center tap rectifier as is clear from the figure. Therefore positive voltage we are getting the output voltage, and for negative cycle also we are getting the output voltage of the same polarity. Now come to the PIV. Here we see that from the diagram, from the center tap rectifier diagram, it is clear that PIV is equals to 2Vm. If we investigate in upper loop, we see that PIV will be equals to 2Vm. Now come to bridge rectifier. In a full wave bridge rectifier, again both the half cycles are utilized to give the unidirectional current. But here we see that bridge rectifier uses 4 diodes. Now again we will investigate the working principle of bridge rectifier for both the cycles, positive half cycles and negative half cycle. So start with the positive half cycle. So let us investigate for positive half cycle. In this case we see the polarity of the voltage is indicated in the diagram, and polarity of the voltage across secondary suggests that diode D1 and D3 will be on, but diode D2 and D4 will be off. Now picture is more clear in this circuit diagram where D2 and D4, because they are off, so they have been shown as open circuit. So from the figure it is clear that diode D1 and D3 are on, but diode D2 and D4 are off, and current flows through diode D1, load resistance RL, diode D3 and the secondary winding. Because now current is flowing through the load, so we get the output as V0 as is shown also in the rightmost part. We are getting the output voltage which is almost same as the input voltage for the positive half cycle, and direction of the load current is from right to left in this case. Now let us investigate what will happen for negative half cycle. Polarity is indicated in the diagram for negative half cycle. From the figure it is clear that diode D1 and D3 will be off in this case, and diode D2 and D4 will be on in the case. Now picture is more clear. Here D1 and D3 are off. So from the figure it is clear that diode D1 and D3 are off and diode D2 and D4 are on, and current flows through diode D2, load resistance RL, diode D4 and the secondary winding. Again notice here direction of the load current is from right to left, that is it is the same as was the case in positive half cycle. That is why we are getting the output of the same polarity as we were getting in case of positive half cycle. So we can say in this case we are getting the output as V0. In this circuit it is shown that for positive cycle and for negative cycle, for both the cycles it is shown that we are getting the output voltage of the same polarity. This is only possible because the direction of load current is same for both the half cycles. This is the output waveform for the bridge rectifier. Here we see for both the cycles, for positive half cycle and negative half cycle, we are getting the output voltage of the same polarity. Now PIV for the diodes used in bridge rectifier. From the figure it is clear that PIV for the diode which is in reverse bias will be equal to Vm. So far we have studied the PIV for half wave rectifier, for center tap rectifier and bridge rectifier. Only in case of center tap rectifier, PIV is equal to twice of Vm, and for half wave rectifier and bridge rectifier, PIV will be Vm.